Hello, greetings, divine love and light to all of you. There's one question that's come up here, and I would like to read it. It asks how to neutralize the curses got in the past life, got by hurting society physically or mentally. How to neutralize black magic done on entire family or house or self. How awareness helps in releasing these things. Any particular sadhana to be done. I had an Adi astrology done a couple of days ago. They suggested some puja. First, I would like to release these energies by self awareness instead of going for any puja with the emotion of fear or greed. Also, if possible, please share contact details of Nadi astrology if you have any. I am doing ancestor ascension sadhana and sending unconditional love to all souls who I hurt knowingly and unknowingly. So you're already doing something. You're doing the ancestral sadhana, sending love, unconditional love to all the souls that you must have heard knowingly or unknowingly. So then, if you're already doing this, there shouldn't be any question about what to do. So either what you're doing, you do not trust in what you're doing, or either you're looking out for some complimentary stuff to happen, or either you do not know what is really happening. You don't know why you're doing what you're doing. So anyways, I have always told you that anything and everything that we get from people, whatever we get, is again the result of the cause and effect. Some karmic stuff that is there, some karmic exchange that is, everything happens with a reason. It's not without a reason that you come across with somebody. So you say here how to neutralize the curses got in the past by hurting society physically and mentally. See, I will tell you one thing. Do not get too complicated and extreme and like a fatalist into all these things. Listen carefully. We all have our journey and our baggages. We all are going through various challenges of life. Everybody, every single person is going through various challenges of life. They have their own kind of obstacles, they have their own kind of issues to face. And these are again the results of their own cause and effect, their own karmic stuff that is coming back to them. So the whole ideology of life is to live life so that you can complete this process and you can finish the unresolved issues, the people or places or whatever. That's the agenda of life. That's the purpose, that's the goal of coming onto earth. However, everybody doesn't go with that mindset. But since you are somebody who is aware of this now, this is your purpose and you're trying to solve this purpose, I would say, if you become aware of it and you have started walking on a journey, just walk on it. Why should we have this hurry of finishing everything and sitting? No, we want to finish everything and then sit and enjoy. That's a wrong idea of life, ideology of life, because we really do not know how much is the baggage. So it shouldn't be like a thrill game, it's not coming from the soul if it is like a thrill game that I want to finish everything and sit back and relax. Then it's more like a fun. Here again, we have come here for fun. I want to have fun with life, and I've come and I'm unable to have fun in life because I'm stuck in all these things, and please, I want to get rid of all these things. Why? What is the reason? I want to go back and have fun in life. Are you getting it? This is not the real pure purpose of life. This is the ego consciousness speaking in this manner. I want to have fun in life, so let me just finish this. What I am trying to always explain, and I am always explaining from the point of awareness, which is from the point of self, and from the point of self, I have come here to finish up the unresolved issue. Why? So that I can liberate. Not for more fun here. I mean, that's a choice that you have. I cannot say that you don't have fun. But then be willing to pay a price. Even the price that we are paying today And sitting with all these things, even talking about being stuck in all this, we get stuck where? When we go to play only, all these things happen. It's all in the play of consciousness. Play of consciousness has got all these varieties. So if you like to play, there's a price to pay for it. So if the question is coming from the ego consciousness is the separatedness. If you're feeling separate from that and having here, the false I is talking this. I want to go back and have some fun, but I'm not able to, So when is good? Most of the people come into spirituality with this. And most of the people who get frustrated and irritated or even bewildered or depressed or they lose faith in spirituality is all because of this, because the idea is not crystal clear. It is again from the point of ego consciousness that we are speaking, that I want to have fun in life, I am not getting to have fun. So there are so many problems. Now I want to get rid of it. How? I come into spirituality. Why? Because I want to cleanse. Why am I doing meditation? Because I want to cleanse all these things. Why do you want to cleanse? Because once it is all clean, I want to go back and have fun. It's just like saying, I'm eating all the fast foods and rubbish foods continuously every day, and I'm enjoying until I fall sick. Now I fall sick, I'm desperate. Why? I want to get healed. So I go to doctors, and doctors are saying, no, this is a disease which will take a long time, or maybe they call it incurable or whatever, and now you're stuck. Now you are desperate to get rid of that disease. So you go here and there, and finally when everything fails, you come to spirituality. Now you want to do sadhana. Why do you want to do sadhana? To get rid of this disease. Why do you want to get rid of the disease? Because if I get rid of all this disease, I can go back and eat and enjoy the junk food again. Are you getting it? It is because the vasana is very strong. So I want to get rid of this problem, the problem that created the problem, so that I can go back into the problem. So this is the nonsense that we are living. So a state of awareness will show you this. So why are we doing all these things? Why are we so desperate? Why is there a hurry? Because why I'm telling you this is, whenever people ask a lot of questions, when will this finish and when will I get freedom from all this? Then it is the have fun attitude. Because if you're a serious seeker on the path of liberation, you will know it doesn't matter to you. When will it get over, this today or tomorrow or next year? Or how will it matter? Because all that you know is that you're already evolving. Every moment you're evolving, and you can see the changes that's happening, and you know it is being released. You know that evolution is taking place. You know that you are slowly walking towards that destination, and you know it can take time because you are very practical. You don't know how much the bag is. You don't care. All that you know is that you're walking and you are moving. See, with this frame of mind, what will happen is the panic will go, the restlessness will go, the impatience will go. It doesn't matter. So you're just walking, and when you're walking in this attitude, it's freedom. Can you see? It's a different joy. To walk in freedom, you don't care, even if challenges are there. So it's like, one challenge is there and you are getting rid of the challenge, and then you are saying, oh, I got rid of it. But you are not saying, now, is there going to come another obstacle? Or some obstacle comes and you say, not again. When is this going to get over? Doesn't matter. Usually, the journey towards liberation is that challenges might be there, but as you go on evolving, the effect of the challenges goes on reducing. That's more wiser, because if your vibrations are high, your frequency is high, your level of consciousness is high, then it doesn't matter. Even if the baggage is there, you're still going, but you're going very steadily. Have you seen even the saints and the evolved persons also, even the sages and all that? They might be having a physical disease, they must be having a physical problem, they might be having so many issues in life again, but they are untouched by it. They're still walking and they're doing their purpose. All the great saints you see, Shirdi Sai Baba you see, Lord Jesus Christ you see, Lord Ram you see, anybody, all the great avatars, You see their life. It never meant everything is smooth and they're walking. If everything is smooth and there is no issue at all, you wouldn't have been here, my dear, first of all. You are here because you got to resolve. It is a drama that's happening. Lord Ram wouldn't have come if there wouldn't have been a story with Ravana. As simple as that. He was already there in the picture because that is the karmic resolution that he had to have. It was already there. It was a repayment of something. So, the cause was there. And for that cause, this person took birth on earth. Now, taking birth, you cannot say that, my life needs to be beautiful. No, there are a lot of things. You get the effect, good also and bad also. It doesn't mean that everything bad. No, we are all also enjoying. There are so many moments of our life where we are enjoying so much, where we are blessed with so many things. If you have food, if you have roof over your head, if you have a good source of income, if you have health, if you have peace, if you have good relations, and I'm sure everybody is not having bad relations. Everybody has got so many good relations. It can outnumber even the bad relations. Bad relation might be just handful, but the best relations that you have in life, your friends, your relations, the society, so many beautiful things that's happening. It's always on the large part. The happiness, the fun that we have in life, it's always a larger percentage. Sorrows are very less if you see that way. But because we get stuck in that, because the consciousness is more aware, because they want to get rid of that negativity, it reacts in that manner and it creates a mountain out of a molehill. The issue is very small, but we make it very large. Because the mind is now in that, I don't want to get into this negative stuff. So, are you seeing? It's your own mind's reaction. And please understand, if your mind is reacting from a negative point of view, you can never get rid of that. You will only end up creating more and more negativities. So there is no solution to it. So spiritual seeking in this path of awareness and spirituality, it is an unconscious act to do meditation and then walk very unconsciously and then be worried day and night. If you're worried day and night, if something is making you restless all the time and fidgety all the time, and a lot of negativity is being created within you, then you're not walking the path at all. Then we are just lying to ourselves that we are walking the path. Because if we are walking the path, somewhere that change has to be seen within. Are you getting it? So it doesn't matter. Your question about how to neutralize the curses we got in the past life, got by hurting the society, physically, mentally. So you are going all this very deep. It doesn't really matter. How many curses? See, Gurudev used to already say, the master used to always say only one major thing, relating to this topic. He would say your life is always about just two things. Either it is about the blessings you get in life or the curses that you get in life. And what you give also, blessings or curse. Cause and effect. You receive blessings, the outcome is always good. You receive curse, the outcome is negative. You give blessings, the outcome you get is beautiful. You give curse, the outcome you get is negative. Either way, even if you are a victim or if you are a giver or a taker, in both ways, your life is all about blessings and curses. Blessings means all the good things that you have done in life. Blessing doesn't mean somebody has to put the hand on your head and bless you. Curse doesn't mean somebody has to sit and shout and yell some bad words at you. That doesn't mean. Curse means even something that is not in alignment to your life. Like for example, you are walking on the road and a small puppy is there and you kick that puppy for no reason. Now that puppy is in pain, it's crying. Now that puppy is not going to look back at you and going to curse you. But the cosmic intelligence, the consciousness of the puppy has done the curse already. Are you getting it? There's a cosmic intelligence in this whole consciousness. Everything is running on that consciousness. Everything is alive and conscious. So that, it's a response, it's life's response to you. If you go, that's how it happens. You go and harm some dumb animal also, in some way, karmically you are going to get it. Now how you are going to get it? Did the dumb animal curse you? No, it did not curse, because it doesn't have a mind, it doesn't know. It's neutral. But then what is bringing you the karmic effect? That's the cosmic intelligence that's working. So curse and blessing doesn't mean a person saying something or a person putting his or her hand on your head and blessing you. Anything nice that you do. A dog is hungry and you go and feed that dog, and that dog is happily eating it and feeling satisfied. Already a blessing has been generated from the dog's consciousness. The dog doesn't have to look at you and bless you. This is all our drama. This is all mind drama. All these things doesn't happen this way. It is an automatic process. That is why it's called cosmic intelligence. It knows everything. It can see everything. It does not need CCTV. It does not need proof. It does not need evidence. In the case, if you have got to go to court and prove and win a case, then you got to provide evidence. You got to give them proof. Then only the judge will be convinced that this is right or this is wrong. But in life, there is a judge sitting within us. That is our consciousness, our self. He is known as the Chitragupta. Usually there is a story. Not story. In the mythology, you can see Chitragupta. You die and you go to heaven or wherever you go. There's this guy sitting, Chitragupta his name is, and he has got all your records of your good and bad deeds. And then he will read out to you, this is your good deed and bad deed, and then punish you or reward you, whatever. So Chitragupta is known as that, but Chitragupta really is your subconscious mind, that's your self. He is not sitting anywhere in heaven with a record. It is your own self which is watching everything in a very neutral way, the God within. Not the God in the sky, the God within. Who is the God? The self. It knows everything. You are not aware of it, because if you are living an unconscious life, you will not be aware of the God within you. Not you will be aware of the God within somebody else, because it's an unconscious life that you're living. You need to meditate and understand. Your frequency should be high to even see or understand these things. Otherwise, it will be very neutral to you. It will not matter. The self you will not see. So there is a self, there is a cosmic intelligence within you that is watching even yourself. The Chitragupta is watching you. This Chitragupta is keeping a record of your good and bad deeds. This Chitragupta is the one who will read out after you passing or whatever. The next life continuity is decided by the Chitragupta. They say it is your own inner self that will tell you, and this inner self is unbiased. It is not going to be partial. To a judge, to a advocate, in the court scene, you can even bribe somebody. You can produce false documents and make it real. Even in our life, you can see. You can talk lies. You can spread rumors. You can talk anything that comes to your mind and make it feel like real. Though it is not real, but yourself is seeing everything. Don't forget that. Even if you are falsely doing something, anything negative also, or hurting somebody negatively, and then again claiming that what you are doing is right. Whatever you claim doesn't matter, but the Chitragupta within you, that knows what is exactly right and wrong. So you got to attune. The more you are attuned to yourself, that self will warn you immediately, my dear, you are doing a wrong job. There are only two connections that we can have in life throughout the day and night. One is connecting to our ego consciousness, the other is the God consciousness within us. God consciousness, if you are connected all the time, if you are a meditator, if you are living a life of observance and awareness, then what will happen is, you are always connected to the Chitragupta. That Chitragupta will tell you whether you are doing something wrong or right. Not what others are doing. It doesn't matter. Chitragupta is here not for seeing what others are doing. It is to tell you where you are going wrong and right. So the moment you go wrong, this Chitragupta will make you aware from within. That is what we call awareness. And it will tell you, hold on my dear, you are doing something wrong. Correct yourself, and you will immediately do the correction because you know the consequences. You don't want to accumulate anything more negative because you are on the path now. You are unwinding your path and you are moving towards purification. So why will you want to take anything negative? So since you have already taken responsibility for your life, now you are working hard towards making things happen beautiful for you. So the moment there is a warning from within, you will immediately correct yourself. So this is the life of awareness. So it doesn't matter, all these things doesn't matter, who has hurt you, how they have hurt you, and in a past life, it's not needed to know who has cursed you, who has blessed you. Damn, it doesn't make any difference. If you are purified, the curses that has come within you and are affecting you. See, what is a curse? Somebody is negatively given you some bad energy directed some bad energy towards you, and it's a manifestation. When you manifest for somebody else negatively, that is called a curse. And if that manifests, it depends on the sender also. Okay, every curses don't just happen. If you take a curse from a spiritually high person, it is 1,000 times more powerful than a person who is not spiritually connected. The person who is negative or very low, if that person curses, it is like, you're throwing a stone and that stone is not even going 10 feet. It is just falling down there only. It has no power. For blessings and for curse, you need power. You need spiritual power. Only then they go with that power. That is the reason when a saint or a sage, when they used to give a shrap, it used to immediately happen. You have seen in mythology. When they give a curse, it used to immediately happen. But the same thing you try to do, it will not happen. Why? Because you are not powerful as the sage. Now, what do you mean by powerful? Powerful means purified person. Person's conscience who is purified, that person has the power to bless and curse. Now, a purified person, an evolved person, who is on a higher range of consciousness will never curse anybody because they know even if they think of it, it will happen there. No need to curse, no need to even do all that drama. If you think, let this happen in this manner to that person, it will happen. Very quickly it will happen. And they know that it can affect somebody else. And if somebody is enjoying that, then that person cannot be an evolved person. Very straight. If you enjoy doing that. And an evolved person will also know that there are counteractions. Whatever you give, you're going to receive bountiful. So the person is even aware. Whatever strength it goes with, immediately you should have the power to neutralize that also. Sages had the power to neutralize that. We don't. So it's better not to get into those games of curses, and blessings is always better because it is always enhancing somebody's life, and the more you bless somebody else, the multifold it will come back to you. It is going to help you, it is going to help them. So it is always suggested that you bless as many people as possible, but never curse. So the other side now, if you are the victim and somebody is cursing you from there, again the sender's curse, the curse sender or the blessing sender, that person's strength is important. If that is from a low point of view, it will not affect you. And if you are the other side, the taker, and if your consciousness is higher, I'm telling you, if your consciousness is low, curses will affect you very fast. If your consciousness is high, curses will get neutralized. Are you getting that? It is your consciousness, because the vibrations that you have, a low vibration is coming, and if you are high vibration, a low will come and immediately it will dissolve. It cannot stand that. But if you are already low and a curse is coming which is little higher than your low, it is definitely going to affect you. So it's very important. If you don't want, instead of thinking all these things, you just raise your consciousness all the time. You stay in a yogastu kuru karmani state, a state of connectedness with your inner self and with the God consciousness. If you are always connected, you are powerfully strong. Any negativity that is coming towards you will repel on its own or gets transmuted. You're getting it? So there is nothing to really sit worrying ki this arrow is coming from there, that curse is coming from here, this blessing. You don't sit in calculation. You are just moving. And you are trusting the cosmic intelligence. There are many meditations which probably I'll teach you sometime. I don't want to get more into this because then you will get into the victimhood. If we go into the techniques, then you will fall into the techniques. I want you to understand the science behind the techniques. And that is what I am trying to tell you. So technique is not really important. Like for example, if you shield yourself properly, if you are grounded properly, and if you are in that bubble of very powerful energy space of your guru, of the Guru Mandala, any deity that you are connected with, not just your guru, you might not be having a guru, you might be connected to your deity. That also helps. Higher consciousness, anything that is in higher consciousness. If you are in the aura of that kind of a consciousness, then anything that is coming towards you will neutralize or bounce back. I have seen this in my own life. When I do that kind of a practice, it immediately hits back. Anybody who's projecting negativity towards you, it immediately hits back, and that person feels very worse, from bad to worse. It's very powerful. It's very, very powerful. These are techniques because you are protecting yourself. It's a shield, it's a kavach. This is what is called a kavach. So if you have a proper powerful kavach, a kavach means what? It's like a golden reflective stuff. Reflective means what? Anything comes and touches it, it goes back. It's like a mirror. You are putting a mirror outside of you. So any energy that is coming negative towards you, it's reflected back automatically. You are not sitting and deciding whose energy and all that. You have just made this in your powerful meditation. Made yourself very strong in that, and you are in that kavach. So it will hit back, it will go back. And we are not aiming to harm anybody. The intentions, the bhav that we have even in this kavach is, if any negative energy is coming towards me, let it go back, because I don't take it. It's not mine. I don't own it. So it is my sankalpa, it is my intention that I don't take it. Let it go back. Now, if I am of a lower consciousness, I will say let it go back and hit them 10 times more. It will happen because it's your sankalpa. But we are not crude people again. Then what is the difference between them and you? We are here not to harm the other person, but to protect ourselves. We are protecting ourselves, but we are not harming them. We don't need any harm. It's unconditional. We understand them. There is forgiveness, there is patience, there is unconditional love. So what happens is, if I say this energy is coming, let it go back, then I add a prayer saying that whatever is for the highest good of myself and them, let that happen. So it might go back or it might transmute from negativity to positivity. Now I do not know which is better for what. So I surrender and give it to the cosmic intelligence and say that you take care of it. Whatever is the highest good of myself and the other, let that happen with these kind of energies. So the cosmic energy will decide whether it has to be transmuted there only or it has to go back to the person. Are you getting it? Because sometimes the cosmic energy, the cosmic intelligence even knows if somebody has to be taught a lesson. Like if somebody is troubling you all the time. Somebody is, like you have said, all this black magic, somebody is doing black magic. I don't believe this is so common. Everybody has created a very big hype about black magic. Everywhere it is there. So everybody feels that everybody has got black magic done on them. It's not so easy to get into all this black magic stuff because it's a big stuff, and those who get into it knowingly they know the pros and cons. And not everybody wants to get into all that. So most of the time it is belief, and what you believe will happen. Even if somebody is not there doing any black magic on you, if you just believe, that's enough. If you start thinking somebody is doing something on me, think day and night and see, it will really happen. It's energy, it's your manifestation. So, and again I'm telling you, even if somebody is doing it also, it should not really affect, because your consciousness has risen now and you are doing these techniques, you are protecting yourself. And you have no harm for them. The bhav changes, That's very important. Because now the intention is that you don't hurt them at all. And now the intention is that you don't hurt them. You don't want anybody to be hurt. But at the same time, you don't want to be troubled also, because you got to move ahead in life. You are evolving and you are least bothered about all these activities that is happening, or somebody is projecting some black magic, some dirty games against you and all. You don't want that. You don't want to harm them, but at the same time you don't want to stop your evolution. So in that case, what you do is you are moving ahead with this kavach, with this shields, and with these prayers, with these intentions that whatever best, let it reflect back or let it transmute. When you say let it transmute, it is from the point of unconditional love, saying that let nothing bad happen to anybody. Even those who are doing wrong to you, let them be spared. But I do not know. Why should I decide that? So I leave it on the cosmic intelligence and say, for my highest good and for the highest good of all, whatever best is, let that happen in terms of my protection. So the cosmic intelligence will sometimes decide if that person who is troubling you needs to get back the rewards there and then itself. So that energy will be reflected back to them, and probably they get affected by it, badly or whatever. But we are not here for that. That the God consciousness is taking care of. What is important is, maybe probably if it hits back, they will stop sending that. Something will happen and they pay their price. Now again, we are not calculating, things are not stopping, so they are not got their punishment. We are not bothered for anything. What I am saying is, whether it happens or doesn't happen, whether you are getting that effects of it or not, you are still continuing on your journey, unperturbed, but with these sankalps again. And you don't want to hurt back anybody who is hurting you. As simple as that. This is what our master has taught. This is what the lineage has taught. Forgiveness even to the person who is hurting you. So when you move from that space, things will automatically take care. Divine justice, what is there, that justice will be done. But you are not the Justice Chaudhary. You are not the judge. You are not the one who is punishing. It is the God consciousness that will take care. So I hope I have answered this question of yours. So do not worry about how many curses you have got and which lifetime and hurting society. Till you are alive on this planet, you are resolving one by one all the issues. It might be curses or blessings. Just go through it without being too calculative. Let life take on. Let all the ledgers be filled on its own. Let all the transactions happen by itself. Let it be resolved by the cosmic intelligence. Our work is to only walk the path. So how does awareness help in releasing all these things? Is any particular sadhana to be done? I told you all these things. There is nothing to be done if you are just aware, and if you are having good intentions and going with it, it's fine. And sometimes these small things, like you are having your kavach and all those things, you move with it. Now don't get too much into all these things. What is that technique, this technique? If you are into that, then you are operating from ego consciousness. It is not the God consciousness. Then it is again the play. You want to play a lot of games. So it's like, people troubling me, troubling me, troubling me. Now I want to get rid of this. Why do you want to get rid of this? So that once they stop, then I start playing the game again. Now you have troubled me. Now you have troubled me so much. Now let me trouble you. All this happens. With ego consciousness, it happens. At that time, when a person is frustrated, they want to get it stopped. But if I have not learned my lesson, if I have not evolved, then after that resolution, I might get into the same game. So it is very, 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 very important that you tune into your inner self through awareness and do it from a purified state of mind, from a risen state of consciousness, because everything bears results in that. So that is why I am telling you, even all these small things, I want to get more techniques and all that. Forget all the techniques. Just do it with the proper intentions first. Make sure that your goal is liberation and not further play. Then you say, I had done a Nadi astrology a couple of days ago. They suggested some puja. First, I would like to release these energies and then look into the puja. See, this is all again calculation stuff. Then if you had to do first through awareness, why did you go to an astrologer? Now because you find that is little hectic, so you are saying, no, I'll do this and then I'll do that. These are all calculations, these are all manipulations of the mind, why you are going there. So you have to know why you are doing anything in life, my dear. Be very careful about it. Even if you are going to a Nadi astrology, what is the purpose? Read your Nadi. What is the purpose of the Nadi Shastra? Nadi Shastra is again when you go and do your palm readings. It's palm reading, it's called. It's all written on the leaves. I've done it myself, so I know. It's very powerful and it's very real. I've done it in Tamil Nadu once. Just to study it, I had gone there. And I did a general reading and 90% of it was very, very accurate. So it will have everything, all the records will be there. But again, I am not going more into these details, because if I go into these details, these are very interesting details. Like it will talk about past lives, your present life, even your future life, and even something called your date of death. When are you going to die? Everything it has got in that. So I read all these Nadi Shastra, and I know very well, according to the Nadi Shastra, when I am going to go, what is going to happen, according to that Shastra, I know. But again, I am telling you, future is changeable according to your sadhana. This is what Gurudev also said. The master said, Nadi Shastra is accurate and powerful. If you go and do your reading right now, you will get all your readings. But the problem is, it is only accurate for today, for now. If you are doing sadhanas, if by tomorrow you are changing your consciousness, then you are changing all the patterns of your future. The fun is, Nadi Shastra is very powerful because it is Agastya Mahamuni's science. It's very powerful because if you do your reading now and then you see there are certain patterns and these things predicted, and then you are doing your sadhana, you do it for 1 month or 2 months and then go back and do a reading, the predictions will change. But if you don't do sadhana, if you don't do anything and you're just living your life normally, as it is, and do a reading, after 2 months you go to the same person and do a reading, it will be the same. There will be no change. Whatever predictions were there, it will be the same. What does this mean? Sadhana means evolution is taking place and you're clearing karmic stuff. So if you're clearing karma, in that 2 months you have cleared karma, so that has altered your future again. So if this is happening, tell me, how does Nadi Shastra stand strong for meditators? It doesn't. So this is why Gurudev also used to say, and the master used to say, it's fine, it's all powerful, but it doesn't hold very true for a meditator, because every moment that person is creating his or her destiny. So first of all, you have gone there, and then they suggested you some puja. Yeah, pujas are suggested, some alternatives are suggested, some methods are suggested, so that these are called some nivaran puja or what, it's an alternative. They give a solution to it. So if there are some malefic effects of your planets or something, it is all external. You do external puja and you are trying to change the energy stuff and the give and take what is there. This is again required for people who do not know the within give and take, who are doing sadhana from within and doing all these dealings, clearing karmas from within. So they need extra things like wearing a ring in their fingers, or doing Vastu Shastra Puja, or doing some Havan, something. They all work. All the solutions work. But I am telling you, these are all external remedies. For internal meditators, there are internal remedies, and everything is within. And you already said that you are doing the sadhana of ancestor ascension sadhana, you are already doing. That means it's an internal sadhana which you are already doing. That will impact. So you are doing a much more powerful stuff than doing any external ritual or external remedy. So the remedy is already there. The only problem is you have fixed a time to it, that I am doing it for so many days and I am not seeing the results. Who knows? What is the kind of baggage that you are carrying? Perhaps it might be a full lifetime of sadhana for clearing that kind of stuff that you might be holding. Who knows? So you cannot put time factor to it. When time factor is put, then this impatience will come. Then we seek out for alternatives. Then I want more. I want complementary stuff. Are you getting it? So get these things very clear, because these are questions again that you repeat. That means you are not getting your fundamentals clear. So whole lifetime will go in these kind of questions, and you will not find a solution because the fundamentals are not clear. So these are the fundamentals that I am talking from. Catch on to the root of things, then all these superficial branches. So you have asked me if I can share some contact details of Nadi Astro. I don't know. I had just gone and it happened, and I need not keep also. I am telling you, it's not really needed. Though that time when the accuracy reading was done, because they told me immediately of my past and my connection of the past, and they even told me how many people I live with in this life. They even went to taking the names of people whom I lived with. They talked about my divorce. They talked even about saying that you are working in a spiritual space. They said that. And it was written in the palm leaf. It was read from there. They said you are working in a spiritual force. And I was working in the ashram that time. How do they know? I have not told any single details. All these things work. Now, please, I don't want any comments or any questions coming to me. Please give me that address and this and that. You are falling in for drama. I'm telling you, this is all drama. I told you, I have been there. I am very impressed by it. But never again did I visit that place, because I wanted to study what happens, and I studied it and I was very convinced. And that from that point I am speaking to you. Now, I am telling you, if the state of evolution, the consciousness is on the lower aspect, then this will be very fun. Then we want to get into it, then we want to manipulate it. Then we want to have a little more fun. We want to alter things so that things might be more comfortable for us, more convenient for us. This is again falling into the drama and the play, which I never wanted. I do not want it, because when you are seekers of liberation, you don't want to get into all this nonsense. So you might relate with it or not, but if the consciousness is low, then it will want to get into all these things. It will want to know what is my past, what is my present, what is my connection with this person, what was this person in my past life, what is this going to be in my future, when is my death date, when is my next birth date. All this nonsense will come in. Please don't fall for it. This is all your mind that plays. The mind that is very much into all these funny things. It's playing, it's enjoying. So I will never entertain that, because there are entertainment, because I can keep this thing going on. It's very fun, but it is not going to help you, neither me. So please do not ask me questions on that. I told you this works, but I told you the fundamentals of how you should even approach the Nadi astrology. So yes, I think I've cleared all your doubts on this. Hope you get this fundamentals clear. Lots of divine love and light to you.